Hey guys, okay, practical 8, exercise 2. For this exercise, what you had to do was to have a picture box for a zombie and a picture box for a lady, and then essentially what happens is the zombie chases the lady, and then when both picture boxes go off the form, um, you have to assume that the zombie caught the lady, and then you have to be creative, um, like with the blood splatter you can see here. If that happens, then the blood should appear, and then if both picture boxes go off the form. All right. So to do this, as you can see, we have 1, 2, 3 picture boxes and 3 buttons and a background. Cool. So let's start. Cool. So essentially, you have a start, stop, and restart button. The start button, very short and sweet. That is where you have your timers. Oh, I did not show you this. In this form, you also have 2 timers, one for the zombie and one for the human. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, and then also you also had to note that we have a image list control, which you can find in the toolbox panel. So here you go, image list. And what that is, it's a control that allows you, if you click properties, that allows you to have a lot of pictures or any file that you can use as an array, which you actually did this week, where you handled arrays and whatever. So as you can see here, 0 to 11, um, it's an array of images. Okay, cool. So and then in order to have an animation, you are going to cycle cycle through all the images to have a animated look or feel. All right, so back to what I was doing there. I don't know what's going on here now. Let's just go to pointer. There we go. All right, so start. As I said, you only start your timers, both your zombie and your lady timers. Okay, this code doesn't matter. All right, don't worry about that. Okay, so start is where you start your timers. That is where you start everything, the moving of the picture boxes, the animations, everything. Okay, so the timers, it's actually kind of important inside or in this exercise. All right, cool. So very easy. Start button, done. All right. The stop button is it's basically just the same as the start, but now instead of starting the animations, you just stop it. So if I let me quickly run it for you guys. Sorry for that flickering. Okay. It's taking a while because there's a lot of stuff to load. Alright, so now you have this. So here's your zombie, there's your lady, and then if you click start, it goes, and if you click stop, it pauses. Alright? It's not, it's, you could have said pause, but yeah, we used stop. Okay, and if you click start again, it just continues. Alright? And then obviously restart goes back, and then you have to have a default image to be loaded when the animation starts and finishes. Okay, basically only start, not finish. Yeah. All right. So this is basically just the exercise. Start it, have the animation run, pause it, start it again. Okay, stop. Okay, let me quickly show what's going on if it's when the zombie overlaps the lady, and then yay, and then your cheesy message box saying ouch, and then your blood. Alright, and then obviously if you restart it, the blood should disappear, and then they should, both picture boxes should go back to their default location. Alright, so now you know what we're up against. Starts, we already did. Stop, literally you just stop the timers. Okay, and then obviously also you have to set the picture box, the splatter, which is the blood, its visibility should be set to false. But I will show you this in the form load event, where you by default set it to false. Okay, there you can see. But yeah, I'm jumping the gun now. Okay, cool. So stop is finished. Cool. Start, stop, easy game. All right. So the restart button, if as you can see here, we have the picture box for the lady and the zombie. All right. So the image list zombie is what I explained earlier, which is your image list controls. Okay. And then the dot images is what you can use as the array property for that control, meaning everything, as you can see, images, that's basically the array that you are going to use to display your images in the set or in the order they appear, like this. Let me just quickly show you this collection. So it's basically your collection images. Yeah, there we go. This property, and then obviously it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc., etc. All right, cool. And also, if you go and if you see here the 0, that means it's the first element. If I go back here, it's the first element of the images property or the images array of this array. So it will start at this at this image. Okay, that's the starting image where your animation starts. Okay, cool. I hope that makes sense to you guys. So the image that starts is equals to the first image of the images property of the image list control, which is essentially an array. All right. So exact same thing for the lady. All right. Okay. Next up, we have to set. So if we restart it, it should go back to the loaded or the default positions. All right. So the dot left property, as you can remember, I think that was early stages in the semester where you actually had to randomize or position op controls. I think it was a button control, right? Where you had to move it around in the form. And to do that, it's the dot left property, and you set it to 340, which means it's 340 pixels from the left of the left side of the form. All right, and then also the zombie is going to be far left, the lady is going to be more to the right, and this is how you position the two picture boxes. Okay, cool. This you don't need. Don't worry about that. Okay, just need to cool. Okay, this also, sorry about that. You don't need that. Yay. The less code, the better, right? Okay, cool. Also, the blood splatter, if you restart it, essentially you are going to click restart once the blood appears and once the two picture boxes go off the form. So that's only, yeah, you can restart it with if you stopped it in the middle, but that's not the point. Okay, so now if you click restart, you want to hide the blood again, okay, because you're restarting everything. And then also you need to stop the timers, otherwise there's no sense in restarting everything if the timers continue ticking. Cool. So that is the restart button. Cool. So the start, stop, and restart buttons, it's straightforward, guys. That's why I'm really running over this very quickly. Okay, so the form load, also, I'm jumping to this now, is as I explained to this, where you have to position your picture boxes accordingly and also set the intervals. Okay, so the zombie interval is 125, which means it's a shorter time period, which means effectively the zombie is going to travel faster, or it's going to move faster across the screen, to have that catch up idea or feel to the form. All right, and the human is 250, which is slower and which is effectively caught up by the zombie. Okay, cool. This is exactly the same as I explained here, where you use your array to set the first element as the loading image, and then also you load, ultimately you have to load the blood, the blood picture box as invisible, otherwise there's no point in having blood before it's being caught, the human. Alright, cool, so just keep your logic there. Okay, and then now the fun starts. So now we are inside our timer, the zombie timer tick event handler. Alright, so I just want to scroll up and copy and cut and paste this. It's variables that you need to declare outside your event handlers. So okay, so as you can see, private int, current zombie frame number, current lady frame number. So at this stage, don't worry about private int. Private, you will handle that in programming next semester. But anyways, all right. So what is the current zombie frame number? Okay, so that is a variable where you use it to iterate through every image when the timer goes off. So if you 1, 2, 3, every second it goes off, this number increases, and by means of increase, I mean it increases, or it loops through every image in the array, or every element in the array. So as you can see here, you increment it by 1, and then here you check if it's larger than 11. Yeah, we use 11 because there's 11 elements in the zombie array, okay? And if it's more than 11, it's bound, or it's out of bounds of that array. Then we have a problem. Then you're going to have either errors, or the animation is going to stop because there's no images to load anymore. All right, so what we are doing here, or what we are checking, is that if it's larger than 11, then it ultimately goes back to 0. So it's, in a sense, an infinite loop. So if it increments, oh, now it's larger than 11, no, take it back to 0, and then start over and start over and start over. So effectively, this part here is a infinite loop to keep the animation running. All right, so now, as I explained here, the 0. All right, so let's take this for example. The pbx zombie.image equals iml zombie.images, and then your first element of that array. All right, as you can see here, we use current zombie frame number. The reason for that is, as I explained earlier, we iterate or loop through the array. So if it's 1 or 0, it starts at 0. It's the first. Let me quickly comment it. So if it's element 0, it's the first image. Then it increments, okay? Now it's 1, and then it continues 2, 3, 4, 5. So it goes through every element in that array. So that is what this means, okay? And then as you can see here as well, we are moving. If you see the left property, that means you are either moving or changing the location of that control, always, okay? Or setting some mathematical stuff, but don't worry about that now. Anyways, so the picturebox.left equals picturebox zombie.left plus 10. So every time the ticker increases, or every second the ticker goes off, you increment the position by 10. Ultimately, that moves the picture box to the right. Okay, cool stuff. Lastly, we have this if statement, which checks if the pbx zombie.left property is larger than the lady, meaning if the zombie picture box overlaps the lady. Okay, cool. So in a sense, it checks if it goes off the form and if the zombie actually overlapped the lady. All right, that's basically just what this if statement is. If that statement is true, you stop both timers, you set the picture boxes to the visibility to false, and then you only then set the blood spatter picture box to false, the visibility to true. So you want to show the blood and you want to show the message box once the zombie, in a sense, caught. Let me just write here, zombie caught, oh, spelling, caught lady, sad face. Cool. All right. So that is basically it for the zombie ticker. Now, lastly, almost done, guys, is the human timer. All right, the human timer is exactly the same logic than I explained in the zombie ticker. So as you can see, you can literally copy and paste this code for the human ticker. So in this case, we just use current lady framework instead of current zombie framework. I already explained why we use that. And here we have 7 because we have only 7 images or elements in the lady array. Okay, so the images, that's the amount of images we need to check. If it goes over the bounds, then we start back, or we begin back at the 0 or the first element. Okay, again, this is an infinite loop to keep the animation running. Awesome. And then again, I explained this to you guys. This is the images increases, or this variable increases, meaning we loop through the elements of the array. So if I'm just going to do it again if you didn't understand the first time. So current lady frame number, if that increments, alright, so if it's 0, it starts at 0. Okay, now it increments every second the human ticker goes off. Now it's 1, then 2, then 3. So what this means is it goes from element 1 from the array to element 0, sorry, in the array to element 1, and then 2, and then 3. So that's what is being used to have that animated feel. So you just loop through the images, and then it gives you off that animation feeling where the zombie or the lady walks. Awesome. And then again, you just need to increase the left property of the picture box of the lady to have her move across the form. And yeah, guys, that is it for the exercise 2 of practical 8. And yeah, this was a kind of a fun exercise to do with you guys. Awesome. See you next week. Cheers.